All right, good morning, good day, good evening. Thanks to everybody for joining our webcast today. I'm Steve Garrison, I'm the MC. My colleague Snahal Contractor will introduce himself briefly. First, just what you're seeing on the screen, part of our idea about connecting dots. We have AI and machine learning embedded in the product to help MSPs and MSSPs deliver services more cost effectively through automation. The reason we've got the cyberbot there, an AI analyst, is to help you see that that technology helps your business scale, helps you correlate detections and events across an attack surface of a very disparate or heterogeneous customer environment, hence the constellations. And you'll see the actual title that we're here for. So hopefully you are here today to learn about leveraging SOC as a service to grow your business. We think we have the de facto platform for doing that. Let's take a look at the next slide and set expectations. First, again, I'm Steve Garrison on the left. I run marketing. My colleague Snahal runs system engineering and technical services around the globe. So he has a lot of perspective in the problems and challenges and solutions that MSSPs are looking for. So first, we have the idea of driving high margin revenue. That's the goal. That's what every vendor wants you to believe that they can help you do. We think we've cracked the nut in how to do that truthfully and cost effectively through our leading open XDR platform. It's open because we can help you partner with your existing tool sets, and XDR stands for Anywhere Detection and Response. Part of our strategy is to help you deploy assets and manage customer environments in any environment, on-prem, cloud, and within your own data center. Part of how we do this cost effectively is to have a complete set of tools in one platform through automation. We present the data in kill chain format so that your analysts actually get helped through this technology. What it means is they can come in, look at this dashboard at various stages, and know exactly what to look for. This is a time saver. This is part of the margin. We want you to be not reactive, but proactive. We want you to basically avoid the fatigue in data and people that everybody's talking about in the industry. And what your customers really want is a white glove service so that they understand that you can unveil complex attacks and show them what you protected them from. So that's the 1-2 punch. Better margin because we're making this more efficient, better services because we're helping you really step up and deliver a platform and a service and the high touch people side of the events that people want to see. We've got customers like SciFlare who are telling us that they basically have SOC as a service capability because they've got a SOC in a box, a single platform to visualize, analyze, and respond to all threats. And we want you to know that our story is all about plugging into what you already have. So on this slide, you can see we work with every security tool out there. These categories are defined by Gartner as the key silos of security. We like to think that we bring them all together. Stellar Cyber likes to wrap all the data from these different our tools and bring it under one GUI that helps you deliver services. We like to talk about correlating data and correlating detections across these tools as well. So that, again, your analysts see information in one screen. Let's go to the next slide, Snahal. How do we do it? Well, we do it with two different things that really bring you value. Number one, we like to say we collect all data and correlate all data from all sources. You can see we have 13 types of ingestions here. It could be your existing SIM, your existing network traffic analyzer. It's also our ability to look into cloud, look into email, look into applications that are SaaS, like Active Directory for Microsoft 365 or G Suite. These are very common services that you might already be selling. We can help you look into those SaaS products and ensure your customers have the protection they expect from you. On the bottom, you see information about geolocation, hosts, and user information. This is important so that you can not only look for east-west traffic in their environment, but also look at user behavior. Is the CEO's email being asked to deliver email outside the US at an unusual time with data and applications they don't normally touch? That's the kind of things that we can demonstrate and explore to help you see how you can make a phone call and say, I've just protected you guys from ransomware. On the upper left, you have the traditional ingestions. And again, that can include your existing tools like SIM and NTA. Next, click Snahal. It shows us the idea of application. So ingesting data, well, a lot of things do that. But what makes us different is that we don't just ingest data, we ingest detections. And we correlate those detections across existing tools as well as our own native applications. We have 20 native applications on the platform. We're showing you 8 here. And as you see, these are the more popular ones. And as Snowhall clicks, this is a case study where one of our customers realized that they could consolidate functionality. They didn't have to use all the tools. They just used NTA and SIM to provide a next-gen set of services with the white glove professional wrappers and reporting that we'll talk to today. And at the end of the day, this is about saving you CapEx. So OpEx from the efficiency through automation and helping your analysts see through an interactive GUI. And then on the CapEx side, more tools embedded in one system. That's what makes high margin. This is why we think we're doing well with the MSSP segment. And I think let's go to my summary slide because we want to get you to the demo in under 5 minutes. I think we're almost there. So only Stellar Cyber achieves these goals for SOC as a service. 1, again, we want you to leverage the assets you already have. So there's no vendor lock-in here. 2, doesn't matter what the data is or what the detections are, we're going to correlate them. We're going to present them on one single pane of glass. With those 20 native applications, you get to pick what you want and sunset what you don't see value in. Because at the end of the day, it's about growing revenue. Snowhall, let's change gears. Let's go to the demo and talk about the platform. And we'll be excited for people to throw questions out to the chat tool. So please, everybody stay on mute and use the chat tool, and we will address questions as Snowhall takes breaks throughout his presentation. Thank you, Snowhall.
Yep, great. Thank you, Steve. As Steve mentioned, my name is Snowhall Contractor. One of my responsibilities is partner enablement globally. I have spent the last few years here at Stellar Cyber providing training to many of our partners globally, as well as my responsibilities are pre-sales systems engineering. So today we're going to talk about using Stellar Cyber platform as a tool for SOC analysts. So what you're looking at is the dashboard, the Starlight Command Center. The dashboard gives you visibility to your SOC analysts of the most critical events that are happening in this time period selected. We selected a week, you can select it 24 hours. Most folks selected 15 minutes to 30 minutes. Again, the idea is these are the most critical events that are happening for my customers and which ones I need to address first. That's the idea of the dashboard. What I've got selected here are all of my tenants. So as you can see up here, this is the Stellar Cyber Starlight Command Center is the only platform that was designed from day one to provide multi-tenancy functionality. So it's a single platform that an MSSP can use and provide security service to multiple tenants. Now, there's a key thing when you design it from scratch, because you can't go do this afterwards. You might have some key missing functionality. So one of the key things is the data is completely isolated per tenant. So as the data is being ingested into the data processor, or we call a component in the data processor, the data lake, the data is isolated for each one of the tenants. There's many reasons to do that. One of the reasons, of course, the key reasons is to keep the data separated from tenant to tenant. And the biggest reason in our platform is we apply machine learning to data as one of our security detections or to look for anomalies. And we run machine learning separately on each one of the tenants' data. And that is a very key point because every tenant will have a different profile for the data. I'm going to pause here for a couple seconds for questions, Steve.
No questions yet, Snowhall, but I do want to encourage the folks on the bridge to look at our resources page under case studies. There's several case studies from some of our North American customers like SciFlare, InSOC, and 5-Iron, just to give you a sense of what they saw in the product. And so back to you, Snowhall. No questions yet.
Thank you. Yeah. So again, I'm looking at all of my tenants, but I can very easily jump to one of the other tenants that I want to. Maybe I only want to look at the Stellar Cyber tenant. Okay, so we have our own tenant. Maybe I want to look at for traffic for the last, or security events for the last 24 hours. Okay, so here I am looking at a tenant called Stellar Cyber, and I'm looking at the most critical events for the last 24 hours. So the events on the dashboard, right in the middle, the events are categorized according to the cybersecurity kill chain. Well, one of the reasons we do that is first, we're providing detections across the entire cybersecurity kill chain. Detections in the reconnaissance stage, detections in the delivery stage, and we provide these detections in all of the stages because we have applications that allow us to do that. So for example, in the delivery stage, we've got a sandbox application, right? Looking for malware, known and unknown. We've got an exploitation stage, which is our IDS engine, our ML IDS engine that's looking for that. Installation stage, command and control, and actions and exfiltration stage. Now, so what is the other reason? The second reason here is you want to go and take a look at the events in your actions and exfiltration stage first. So here you can see I have 3 critical events, and in the reconnaissance stage I have 11. Well, actions and exfiltration is data leaving my network. So I should go address those events first. Okay. So those are the reasons, some of the reasons on why we have this right up there in the center. On the left-hand side, we're also monitoring your most critical hosts in that customer's network. Here you can see I've got a host 10.30.2.57, and you can see a summary of the detections. I've got 33 network traffic anomalies, 60 exploits, and 2 events in the actions and exfiltration stage. I can go into a panoramic view for this particular host, and now you can see all of the events across time. So here I've got, an anomalous amount of outbound traffic, a lot of user login failures, started an uncommon process, and so on and so forth. Okay. On the right-hand side, I've got the actual host in the middle and all of the destinations with the security events that are identified in the middle, right? So you can say, these are all the security events that I have triggered from this particular host to this destination. So I've got a nice graphical view, and then the details at the bottom in a table view. I'm gonna go back to my dashboard here. So that's the most critical host. On the right-hand side, I've got my most critical security event that's happening for that particular customer. So I can very easily click on that security event. And we don't only give you a security event, we give you the ability to take actions on the security event. So you notice I clicked on the security event. This security event is infused with other data like geolocation, the reputation of that particular host, what tenant belongs to, what the application is. And here is as detail as a packet capture you can get. So very, very granular details of the actual event, right? So not just a simple event, but why this event was generated, what the score was, and all of the other data points that are included. I don't have to go to other tools, like maybe I want to look for the reputation, I might have to go to some website. Right? I can also take actions from this event directly. So I can add a comment here to say level 1 tech completed, and then I can say level 2 tech, go take a look at it, right? So now I can start adding comments or tags in here. And as I add these comments and tag, notice they're getting added to my metadata at the bottom of the record here. That's important because I want other analysts to now go and be able to search for this, saying, hey, level 1 tech already looked at this. Maybe I need to go take a look at it, right? I can even open up a case directly from here. I can trigger an email directly from here for someone else to take a look at it, or even open up a ticket in an external ticketing system, as well as taking an action like blocking this event temporarily or sending a block message to the firewall for 15, 20 minutes while I analyze what's going on with this critical event. So that is my dashboard. I want to see if you have any questions on the dashboard. on what the dashboard is signifying.
Thanks, Nahal. Steve here. So no questions yet through the chat tool. Everybody can use the chat tool. I sent out the link on case studies. I want to make another note that a month ago we did a webcast for MSSPs on MDR as a service, managed detection and response. And it really depends on whether you're looking at wholesale or retail business models. Both stories are very relevant to our customer base as well as what we know differentiates us. So Nahal, back to you, and everybody can continue to use the chat tool if they have questions. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Steve. The next thing I want to, so we talked about the dashboard and finding the most critical events. The second thing I want to talk about now is management, okay? So this is I have the ability, first of all, I'm going to create different tenants, right? So I've got tenant management. Very easily, I can create a new tenant here. Simply giving a tenant name, the contact information, and so on and so forth, I created a new tenant, okay? So my tenants are displayed here. Notice I'm in the Stellar Cyber. Let me just go to all tenants. Here's all my tenants are displayed. And what you'll notice here is the amount of ingestion that each tenant has into the platform, so you can charge accordingly. So we do keep track of how much data is being ingested per tenant, okay? So this is just simply creating a tenant. Now what I can do is create a user, okay? So I can create a user for that particular tenant. Let's just click on plus here. But this is also multi-tiered, okay? So I've got multi-tiered, multi-tenancy. What does that mean? So I've got a root user here first I can create. The root user has visibility to all of the tenants, okay? And at the other end, I have a tenant user. So a tenant user is a user that can access data only for their own tenant, right? So I've got a customer is called Coca-Cola. When user of Coca-Cola logs into the Stellar Cyber platform, they only see their data, okay? And then I've also got another level called partner, a partner user. So I have a partner user, and when the partner user logs in, I can assign these 5 tenants to that particular user, okay? So you may be able to provide even wholesale services. So I've got a root user, which is usually the SOC analyst, and then I've got a partner user who've got multiple tenants, and then individual tenant users. So even if I create a tenant user or a partner user, I've got a concept called role-based access control. Each one of those users will have a very, very granular configuration that I can provide. So maybe a tenant user only has the ability to go look at events or look at certain logs or look at certain reports. They can't do anything else. So you can see here very easily just by turning some knobs on what access each one of those types of users have, whether there's a partner user or whether it's a tenant user, or maybe I have a level 1 SOC user. Maybe I don't want to give them access to something. So very, very granular profile configuration per user here. Okay, I'm gonna stop for questions.
Actually, great timing, Nahal. We actually have a really good question. If I have several tenants, is it possible to merge critical issues from all tenants and display all alerts on a single page or a single dashboard?
Yeah, there are ways to do that. So I can start tagging. So any events I have from certain tenants and things, I can start adding tagging, right? Or there's the grouping where I can group the tenants, and then that particular user who belongs to that partner can go and look at the events for that particular group. But the best way, the easiest way to do it is you can do it based on tagging. And then I can build dashboards. So we'll talk about custom dashboards. I can actually, this dashboard is just a pre-configured dashboard here, right? I can very easily go ahead and create a custom dashboard that will only show me things that you want to see. So if you want to see certain data from certain tenants, yes, I can do that by creating a custom dashboard. And I can share that custom dashboard amongst tenants too. Okay, questions?
No,
Any
that's
more,
it
Steve?
for now. That's
Great.
it for now, but
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so I talked a little bit about the daily data ingested. So right here at the bottom, you can see this is the amount of data that I'm ingesting total. I can click on it, and at the bottom, you can see I can scroll on the different tenants that are ingesting the different volumes of data. Again, I can charge accordingly. Or I can go to usage details. For usage details, you can see I've got which tenant in a graphical view here is using the most amount of data. And then I've got the different types of data that's being ingested, okay? Or I can click on the actual tenant itself and see all of the different types of data that I'm ingesting from that particular tenant. And that brings us into ingesting data. How do we ingest data from our different tenants? There's multiple ways. The common model today that many of the MSSPs are using is they will send a little sensor. Okay, so you have a customer, you sign them up, you send them a little sensor. The sensor is about the size of an Apple TV. These sensors come in different models depending on how much ingestion the tenant will have. Okay, so you send them this little sensor. The sensor can connect to their network switch, and you have visibility to their network. So off of a mirror port, you would connect one of the sensors, and now you have network visibility. That sensor also acts as a log forwarder. So one of the key components that Steve talked about is using existing data from each one of your customers. Okay, one customer might have maybe a Meraki access point controller. Another customer might have Office 365 logs. Another customer might have Google Suite logs. Another customer might have maybe Fortinet firewalls or Palo Alto. The idea is it doesn't matter what type of data, what type of syslog messages that they send to us. We will parse those syslog messages as they're coming in to the data processor as we're storing that, and we will correlate them, right, with the data, different types of data receiving. We will enhance those syslog messages with the geolocation reputation, and then we will store it in a single type of a record. So no matter what type of data you're ingesting, whether it's network data or syslog data or cloud data, they will always look the same to you, which what we call is our interflow record, which I'll show you. So that's the collection pieces. We can collect our main component of the solution. So if you look at the top, which is collect, detect, investigate, and respond, I'll talk about that, is the collection piece. Collecting data from anywhere. Any type of data your customers will have, we want to have the ability to collect that data and parse that data. Okay? So now that we collected the data, what the SOC analyst is doing is looking for security events. Okay, so I got all of the data, it's stored. Now I'm going to go look for security events. I'm going to look for malware in their network, right? So I'm looking for various different types of malware. I'm looking for exploits using my IDS application. So I've got these various applications that I use to look for security events. I'm also doing user behavioral analytics. So we can ingest user information using Active Directory in the cloud using API connectors, or I can install an agent on the Active Directory server to feed me all of the user information. So now I'm providing events based on a particular user. So we run machine learning on those users. Okay. I'll talk about machine learning in a second here, but there's also phishing. So we can also provide phishing detections for your customers. So these are the different applications or tools that Steve mentioned. We've got a common data set that is now stored in the data processor. And I've got all of these different applications that I can provide as a service to my customer. And we also have MSSPs that'll charge based on these services. Or do you want IDS service? Okay, we're going to charge you X. Do you want phishing service? We're going to provide you this. Do you want network traffic analysis? we can provide you this as a service. So there are different direct detections that we provide at a network traffic analysis. The second and one of the most important pieces from looking for threats is machine learning. So now that we ingested the data, we are normalizing this data over time. We're going to find out what's typical, and if anything deviates from the typical, whether it's a user who generally logs in from 9 to 5, logged in at 2 a.m., what should I do? So I'm going to have a security event for that. Okay, so that's the machine learning piece, which is looking for anomalies, things that are not normal in their network that we may not have with static detections. Questions, Steve?
Not right now, Snehal.
Okay, great.
Thanks for checking.
Yeah, I'm going to pause. So the next piece is, so this is providing security detections for your customers. The second piece is you may want to provide some custom security detections for your customer. So we can do that with our threat hunting. Threat hunting is all about, I've got the data from my customer. Now that I have the data, I found some known security events based on my detection, but now I want to provide some custom security events for them. So I can create custom security events here, or I can, what I also call here is my threat hunting. I can go look for things. So maybe I want to go look for, maybe the customer has a critical server they want you to monitor. I'm going to tag a asset to say this is a critical server on their network, okay? If it starts talking to somewhere outside of their normal country, so let's say the critical server is located in the US and it starts talking outside of the US with an anomalous amount of volume of traffic, I wanna have a security event. So I will have a security event that pops up on my dashboard that says, hey, here's a custom event that you created, and I've got a trigger for it. Okay, so this is looking for, and you can look through this very, very quickly. So here I've got all of my customers' data or my particular customer's data. I can just type in something like Russia, right? Look how quickly it goes through terabytes and terabytes of data and coming back with a result, right? So I can do Russia and, I don't know, I can say scanner reputation, okay? Looks like for this particular tenant, they don't have it, but I can very easily jump to all of my tenants and I would have results for it. Okay, and I don't have any results where traffic's to Russia and it has scanner reputation. But you get the idea. I can start looking for things by simply doing a free search here. Okay, once I like a query, I can create these queries for my customers. So I've got various different queries that I have created here. Right, here's a ransomware query. You know, any events that have a risk score higher than 90. So a lot of different queries that I can share amongst my customers. I've also got this thing called a threat hunting library. My threat hunting library are some common use cases that our MSSPs have been using over time. Okay, let me increase my pattern here. Let's go back maybe a week. Okay, and I'm going to clear this filter and I'm going to click on my threat hunting library. My threat hunting library are things that I'm going to go look for my customer. Here you can see I've got Windows malware that's been triggered. So they've got some Windows machine that's got malware triggered. I've got all login failures in their network. Non-standard port usage. Here's a cool one. For my customer, they're using an application that has a password in the clear. So I can click on this, password in the clear. Okay, what are these applications that have these passwords in the clear? Oh, they've got an application called TDS, and I can filter on that really quickly by clicking on this plus here. But if I scroll down, I can start taking a look at the details. Now here's that power of that interflow record, okay? Again, the interflow record is that common record across all of the data sets that we're ingesting in here. Here's the URL that they went to. Here's the application, eBuddy, and it'll tell you which tenant it is and which sensor picks it up, the geolocation and the reputation again. Here's my interflow record, okay? My interflow record told me this is the URI that they went to. And as I'm scrolling down, there's a server. and here's the actual password that they use for it, right? So I have identified that there is a application that they use that had a password in the clear. But the reason I picked this example is it gives you the power of getting the details in this, patent pending interflow record that we created. Again, the interflow record is all of these different sources of information we're gathering, threat intelligence data and all of that, in a common single record that you have evidence for your customers to say, this event isn't just a single line event. Here, you go figure it out what the event is, but you're providing proof and evidence of what that event is. Okay, and then as you can see, there's many other types of things that you can go look for threat hunting. I'm gonna pause there for questions.
I have a comment though, Snehal, and I think it's a great level of detail. Just to share what other MSSPs are doing with the platform, that example of the plain text password is the kind of reporting or proactive security offerings you can come back to your clients and say, this is the kind of issue that could lead to a breach. We strongly recommend you changing it, even let us help you change it. And so that's not only an awareness, it's just the idea, again, what people call in the industry, white glove services. And we see people offering value-add customized reports, which I know you're going to get into, as well as consultative calls. Sure, we connect those dots for the audience and how all these nuggets are actually revenue streams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so let me go through one more topic here, and then let's come back to all the connecting dots at the end. So this, again, is investigate. This is my threat hunting piece. The last piece I want to mention is my response piece. It's great that through my detection, I found these security events. It's great that through me investigating, I found these security events, but this is still a manual process. I have the event, now what? A SOC analyst still has to take an action on that event, right? Whatever that action may be. But we have a piece in here under our SOAR capabilities, under automation, and this automation piece is creating a playbook, right? This is creating some rules to say, hey, Stellar Cyber Command Center, you go look for these things every 5 minutes is what I have here. So what are these things I'm going to go look for? It could be one of those custom security events, queries that you created, or it could be one of these queries that we have, right? Is if I see ransomware, so here's one just on ransomware. So what this is doing now is looking for every 5 minutes in the data that we're collecting, if I see ransomware in my network, what should I do, right? So what should I do is the magic here, is I can take an action. I can send an email to somebody, maybe a ticketing system, as well as I can even send a message to the firewall to say, hey, I saw a server in my network that's maybe being used as cryptojacking or has, some sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, Steve? Cryptojacking slash Bitcoin, right? That's being used for Bitcoin. Yeah. Yep. What should I do? Well, I want to send a message to my firewall. Go to the firewall and block that traffic, right? If I've got a user that's behaving badly, go ahead and disable the user. But here's a really neat one. Create a security event, right? So based on a custom query, I have the ability to create a custom event for that particular customer, okay? And I can define the severity of this event. But this is, again, you can set up whatever custom query you want here, and you can automate this whole thing to take actions on behalf of you. Okay, so that's our respond piece. And then the last piece in here is our reporting. Okay, our reporting, it breaks down into, first you've got general reports here. I just want to give maybe malware downloads. So I can schedule these reports to be sent every day to my customer. Hey, here are all of the malwares that we found in your network yesterday. Okay, I've got PCI compliancy reports. I just ran this PCI DSS 821 compliancy report on your network. Here's what the results are. CIS compliance reports. HIPAA compliance reports. And then the most powerful is the custom reports. I can create custom reports for my customer based on what they're looking for, what you want to provide. Maybe there's a report just for the CEO for that customer. Maybe there's another report that's for the analysts, right? Or anyone else. So custom reporting is a key function and used by our MSSPs today. So the custom reporting also ties into the custom dashboards. So this particular dashboard that you see here is a pre-canned dashboard, and I can very easily have a custom dashboard per customer. Maybe for one customer, I'm looking for other things. So I can have that dashboard pull up. So I hope that gave you a good overview of the various different functionality in the Stellar Cyber solution and applications that you can use to find security events for your customers. Steve, want to open for questions?
Yeah, we don't have a question, but I definitely have another comment, Nahal. And first of all, thank you for a great overview. And just that idea of Bitcoin again, I think a lot of SMBs who are going to be the primary target for an MSSP service may not even realize that a lot of their hosts are being used for Bitcoin mining. And so this is the whole idea. If you have a more cost-effective platform for your own OpEx and CapEx, and your team is more efficient, this is a way to make a sticky and very long-term relationship with your customers by showing them things that are going on in their own environment they had no clue about. Plain text passwords, hey, Bitcoin mining. That's the kind of trust or ideas that would build a lot of trust and a lot of stickiness. Oh, we do have a question that just came in. Can the platform be white labeled? Fantastic question. Snowhall, take it away.
It sure can. And again, I call this thing our multi-tiered multi-tenancy. So the white labeling is also multi-tiered multi-tenancy. I can white label it for a particular tenant. I can white label it for a partner, or I can white label it for an MSSP. Is one other thing you can provide value to your customers is we also have asset management. So you can even have asset management as a service that you can offer. Here you can see every single asset that you found for that tenant, right? If you click on that particular asset, you can find all of the security risks that that asset had. Every single place that they logged into, all the files that they access, even as well as if they have servers as assets, you can see all the vulnerabilities that that server has based on data that we can collect from Nessus or Rapid7 or Tenable or something like that. So I wanted to add this one more functionality, one more application, which is asset management. And those were majority of the applications that I wanted to talk about today.
It doesn't look like there's another question, so just thank the team again from your side, and we'll call it a day, and we'll see you all in the webcast sphere, future recordings and future events.
Yep, thank you very much for taking the time. I will hope to see you out in the field. Have a good day.